Hi guys, Peter Finch here and welcome down to Tech Tuesday, your weekly look at everything to do with technology within golf. And today we're going to look at a couple of things. First of all, repainting of clubs, and then second of all, concept clubs. This does sound like it's going to be the car issue of Tech Tuesday. Now first of all, about repainting clubs. So, Cobra teamed up with Bryson DeChambeau at the RBC Heritage to introduce the new Heritage line from Cobra and Puma. Now what that involved was new polo shirts, new trousers, new belts, new flat caps and all the rest of it, but it also involved repainting a King F7 driver and adding a persimmon effect to the top of the club. To me, it looked more like a sunburst effect on a guitar, but it was called a persimmon effect. And the whole point of this was to combine with the heritage of the game, and all the rest of it. There is a limited run on these drivers as well, and it does beg the question of how many times have manufacturers actually just resprayed a club, repainted it, and then encouraged people to buy it, believing that it's something new. Now, Cobra have been at great pains to make sure that everyone understands that this is literally just another option, a limited edition on that club. And certainly limited edition runs of clubs do have their place. But what we're going to do today is have a little bit of a look at clubs which really have just been resprayed, what you think, what you would class as some of the big examples of this. An example which really springs out to me is when Nike released their Vapor Fly range to replace the Vapor range. Now the Vapor range, which was black and what was the colour that they tried to invent? Anyway, they tried to invent a new colour. It was like a black and a green and yellow, and then they brought out the blue and the yellow. And it was, in many eyes, a very obvious attempt to slightly change a club. You know, they say they did make differences to the driver especially, but then just repaint it. And they repainted it in a way that would match up to other things that they were doing within golf. And these are just a couple of examples because you can point this finger at, I think, quite a lot of manufacturers. Now what I want you guys to do here is comment below and let us know what you think the most obvious ones are. And really you could go through every manufacturer and say, well actually these clubs are exceptionally similar to each other. They say the technology's changed, they say it's very, very different, but has it? Has it really changed? One area that a lot of people would look at and say, well actually has much really changed at all, is a blade, you know, a forged blade, a really top premium one. Have they really moved on within the last 5 years? Again, the amount of technology that you can put into a forged iron is a pure forged iron is very, very limited. So have the forging processes improved that much to give you a much more complete iron? Because these are all questions that need to be answered. At this moment in time, you would say that the golf industry, what they've done with clubs, what they've done with irons, what they've done with drivers, they have really reached the limit of what the rules will allow. You know, how much more can they tweak? How much more can they move weight around? How much more can you adjust weight to give better ball flights? Now, these are all questions which are up for debate, and there's certainly no right side to this. And whenever you think that people have reached the limit of technology, when you think that they've pushed to the boundary just too far, there will always be someone who can push it that little bit further. That is how technology improves, because people are always pushing at the limits. And certainly this is not saying that manufacturers are simply just bringing out the new clubs with a different label. But at the moment, if you strip away the marketing, if you purely just look at the clubs, and especially if you just look at the lofts as far as irons are concerned, what is changing there? So guys, comment below, let me know what you think are the big similarities between irons which you're bringing out, which do you think are the most obvious paint jobs that we're going to call them here. And this leads us very nicely into concept clubs. So this is a story that started circulating at the start of the month, and it is about the C69 from Titleist. Now this is the announcement that Titleist are reintroducing the C69, which they introduced in a small amount of run along with the driver last year. Now to give you the basic details of this, I'm just reading an aggregate of different reports on it from last year and from this year as well. So it was a concept car launch, that's what it was basically called, and it was introduced first of all a year ago. It was a very limited run. I think it was 1,000 sets of irons and 1,000 drivers. I might be wrong about that, but it's something around that number. But these irons were pretty much 3 times the price of a normal Titleist iron. So the C16 is a hollow iron that uses a cupped steel face and an extensive tungsten internal weighting, and basically Titleist marketing were calling it a breakthrough in performance. They were just seeing what it would be received like. They were really just introducing new technologies and, a lot of the stuff that you would expect people to say. And I'll also leave a link in the description to a Golf WRX article about this, which again just goes into it in a little bit more detail. But just to give you a cost on the price here, so it'd be $1,000 for a driver, about $3,000 for a set of irons. And what you need to do to actually get these is you need to get fit at a Titleist centre for them. So you can't just go to a shop and pick these up. Some of the technologies from this have been introduced into the drivers, such as the SureFit system into the new Titleist drivers. But this whole process of having concept irons, releasing them early, seeing how they'll go, people buying them and then introducing them into later iron sets, I don't know. Because for a start, golf clubs aren't cars. I would say that there's more that you could change within a car that you can change within a golf club. But this follows a similar trend to what you've been seeing a lot of within the golf industry. The main manufacturers really with their top end products, so you think about like an M1 driver or an Epic driver or whatever it may be, the prices of those clubs is quite high. Now when you compare that to the fact that the performance of those clubs really don't perform masses amount better than last year's versions, you've got to be asking, well, why are people willing to pay that amount of money? And then you contrast that to the PXG clubs, which are out, which everyone I think agrees now are very good clubs. I'm certainly not saying that they're not, but they are aimed at the premium market, and very few people can get hold of them. And there lies the allure, because when you look at these C69s, when you look at the PXG irons, they look lovely. The claims that are made about them, absolutely fantastic. Are they going to perform better than anything else out there? Maybe. Maybe not. No one really knows unless you do a direct head-to-head comparison against what you're currently using. And I think if people do change into these C69s or the PXGs, whatever they may be, they may find performance gains. Is it going to be worth 3 to 4 times the amount of what you'll be paying for a competitor's club? But again, these Tech Tuesdays are all about just introducing you to stuff that you may not have heard of, to introduce you to some ideas that you may not have thought of before, and then let you guys come up with your own conclusion. Because at the end of the day, I haven't tried these C16s. They literally could be the best iron ever. They could totally change my game. I think I've got a pretty good understanding that they wouldn't, but who knows, they could do. This is all about opening up these questions and asking you guys to comment and discuss. So what do you think about this whole concept club idea? Do you think it's something that other manufacturers could trial? Do you think it would be a success? Is it just the fact that there's a limited number? And is it just the fact that there's golfers with maybe a little bit too much spare money? But guys, thank you so much for watching. Let us know what you think in the comments below. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Follow me on my other social media platforms as well. And we will see you down here next time.